out of town. Got a lot of books. I went to 3 different bookstores, so I will definitely tell you about those. I will talk about what books I have read. Let's get started. Has new and used books. They had books at great prices, which I'm going to show you all the books I got from there, and you'll have to pardon me. Like, I even got a book for Christmas, so I have so many books. Okay, so this is what I got. These are all hardcover books, and not all of them, but most of the hardcover books that I got from the Pauper's bookstore were hardcover. And the books are in great condition, as you can see. And I thought that was pretty freaking cool. So this book was $7.99. How could I not get it? And I mean, got a beautiful woman on the front. I'm like, how could I not? I'm looking forward to reading all of these books. This one, I didn't even really read that much about it. I do like to be somewhat surprised, but it says it's set in the 19th century in Sri Lanka and inspired by a local folklore island which follows the daughter of a traditional demon priestess relentlessly bullied by peers and accused of witchcraft herself as she tries to solve the mysterious attacks that have been terrorizing her coastal village. So I'm like, and this might be something I read in October, the thing, but I definitely will tackle that. Then I got the Black Flamingo, which I think this was popular when it came out, whenever that was, because I do recall seeing it somewhere. But I know this has to do, it's a gay teen growing up in London, how he navigates his life. I really don't know that much about it, but it did have really good reviews on Storygraph, which, by the way, I am trying Storygraph out this year. I'll post my link below. I've had Goodreads actually for a long time, and I'm in Shelby in the Book Club's Discord group, and it's free to join that. I would just ask because someone mentioned Storygraph, and I was like, "What is that?" Not a this is not a promotion or anything. I'm just telling you. It gives you like graphical views of books you've read and the genre that you read the most. And I like seeing that just for myself. I'm gonna give Storygraph a try. And the cool thing is I was able to import all of my Goodreads list to Storygraph. The only difference is that Storygraph doesn't have individual shelves that you can name like Goodreads does, because I had them separated, but it does have tags, so it tells you in there if it's a fiction, nonfiction, romance, horror, thriller, whatever it is. So I'm enjoying it so far. I also got The Mayor of Maxwell Street. I was like, this cover is beautiful. I got a bookmark it at Christmas. This book was $7.99 as well. It says the year is 1921 and America is burning. A fire of vice and virtue rages in every shore, and Chicago is its beating heart. And I did not read that much on that. I was like, But I think this might be an historical fiction. Don't quote me on that. And again, this is still all that I got at the Paupers. And how much was it? It was $35. I spent $35 on all these books, which if you buy books and you have this pile of books, it's very unlikely you get another $35. So I was like, what? Okay, Witches Steeped in Gold. This one actually had a lower rating. I was really bummed out about it because I really love supernatural stories with witches and vampires, especially if they're of color. I'm like, yes, represent me, please. But I heard that different things about this story, like it was broken up and out of order, and so I don't know. And someone even made that post like they wanted to love it. I could totally relate to that because I really want to. It is pretty thick, so I'm hoping it's a good book because I do DNF books. Listen, my time is valuable to me. And if it isn't working at that time, it isn't working at that time. Sometimes when I DNF a book, I can come back later. I just wasn't either in the right mindset or frame of mind or whatever the case may be. But I have no problem saying no and never coming back as well. So there's that. This one, the Gilded Ones, this one was on my TBR as well. And when I saw it, I was so excited. And I think the price on this was ridiculously cheap as well. I have the cover on backwards. There we go. It was $6. It was $5.99. So let me fix the cover because that's going to drive me crazy. This is part of a series, I think, of 3 books, and I don't know if that's only 3 or if it's a continuation. I don't know that much about it right now. However, this one did have, I think it had an average of a 4-star rating. It just looks really interesting. It says, "Are we girls or are we demons? Or are we going to die? Or are we going to survive? Outcast by blood, warriors by choice." Yeah, I think this is a YA book because the character's like 16 years old, and I do like going into a book somewhat blind. Sometimes if it gets too crazy, I'll have to go back and read. I'll be like, wait a minute, what am I reading? But the most part, I don't have to. That was all that I got from that bookstore. The next bookstore I went to was the Epilogue, and it's a bookstore and a I got a latte because how exciting was that to go into a bookstore and have some coffee and look at some books and buy some books because, I couldn't leave the bookstore without buying some books. So I ended up buying this book. I actually only bought one book because I have heard great things about Kennedy Ryan and I wanted to read one of her books. The funny part about this is, don't be like me. This is the second book in the series. The first book is Before I Let Go. And this is the second book. Now, as someone that has now read the book out of order, I can say that I didn't feel like I was missing anything from the main characters, but the couple, which I'm assuming was in the first book, like they're there, but I could see how you would really I would have appreciated those cutesy little moments with them in this book if I had read the first book. But it didn't hurt the storyline for me to connect with the character or anything like that. The main character in this book is Soledad, and then you have Judah. And the back of the book tells you that, Soledad, she had it going on. She, ran her household. She didn't work. She graduated from Cornell, and her husband works at this firm. He apparently made this great promotional idea, so he was really popular. You learn pretty early on the way that he's treating her. I was like, And some of the stuff he was saying, so he's narcissistic. She painted the picture of her husband really well. Then on the back of the book, it even tells you that, that her forever life that she built with her husband goes up in a poof of, what's her words? Betrayal and disillusion. She has to figure out real quick how she's going to support her family. And she, speaking from personal experience here, guys, when you are in an unhealthy relationship dynamic and the person is abusive, but it is not, physical abuse, it's verbal, there is a real mental impact. You can't see yourself for all the smoke that is being blown up. You know what. Okay? That being said, you really go on a journey with Soledad. This is a thick book. This is not some short little cutesy read. I would not describe Kennedy Ryan's book as a cutesy read. This book has depth. You're following both the main character and you're getting to know them. Like you're getting to understand like their family dynamics, what's going on in their world, what Soledad is doing, how she's working through some of this emotional trauma, like the work she's doing on herself, how she's connecting with her audience because she decides to become a social media influencer and what that looks like. So there's a lot going on here, and it's a beautiful story. Not once did I think, oh, I don't want to pick up this book today. Not once did I say, oh, this is heavy, this is taking forever. It did not feel slow paced. It felt like everything happened when it should have happened. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I was like at page 200, and obviously this is a romance book, so let's not kid ourselves, right? At what point are we getting to a resolution? So there was a point in this book that I was like, because again, I had never read any of her books, and I did not want it to be a rush finish, which I feel like some authors do. They create this big elaborate situation or complex problem, then it's magically resolved in 10 pages. Like, but we just spent 195 building that out. You know what I'm saying? So you will not be disappointed with this book. I highly recommend this book. I'm going to rate it either a 4.5 or a 5-star on Storygraph. She is a great author. I have nothing but good things to say about this book. I look forward to reading more from her. This is a great story. You read romance novels and they seem short. They lack depth. You would like to see more of what's going on with the characters in their, in a more realistic way. That was the other thing. But I was saying that every time I was talking to my partners about this book. It's just, she is real. It's not the fluffy, romanticized, sunshine and rainbows. And there are beautiful parts in this book, don't get me wrong, but this was real. It was like, if this happened to your best friend or you, like this was real. So I really, really enjoyed this book. Definitely a great read. And this is the book I got from Epilogue. So there's that. This is the kicker. The other book, the first book, was right beside it. But I thought this was the first book. I was like, oh, this is the first one, I think. And I, which is funny because normally when I'm buying a book in the series, I'll see them and I will double check to make sure I have the first book, because I really do like reading things in order. Like, you should know this about me. I really, really enjoy reading things in order. And I did that with Kimberly Lemming's books as well. And I read Mistletoe first, but the only saving grace again for that was it was not a big impact to the first story. So it was a 1.5, and it was a little novella. It was a great book to be like, oh, let me go read these stories. She's a great author, So Kennedy Ryan, Kimberly Lemming, maybe I have a thing for K authors. Maybe just so far they just my favorite so far. But if your name starts with a K and you're an author, I may love you. Anyways, great book. Highly recommend. You cannot go wrong with this. Now, I haven't read the first book. I read the second book, but I'm definitely looking forward to reading it. I definitely will read more of her books. All right, moving on. The next bookstore we went to was The Regulator. And, oh, wait a minute. I take that back. I got this book as well from Epilogue. Oh, this is by Octavia Butler. I have never read an Octavia Butler book, so I'm excited about this. And all I know really is this is a not supernatural, but I think this is in space. Like, let's see. Yeah, she wakes up from a deep sleep. She finds herself aboard a vast spaceship. I was like, say less. Like, I don't need more. I love sci-fi books, and I love it when it's a story and not a lecture. Don't know how else to say that. So I'm looking forward to reading this. This cover is really giving me summer vibes. So I'm not really sure when I'm going to read this, but I'm definitely going to read this. I'm super excited about this. Then we went to, I'm telling fibs. I also got this cute little book. It's This Is Your Brain on Depression, Creating Your Path to Getting Better. So it's just an itsy bitsy little book. It's got a cute inside cover, as you may have just seen. So it's written by Faith Harper, which has a PhD, it looks like, and LPCS, ACS, and ACN. My family deals with the history of depression. Am I currently depressed? No. But my family has a history of depression. So I think it's good to read different books and be educated. Of course, I'm educated in depression. I know what it feels like, and I know the weight when it's just like taking you down. And I'm always open to learning like new tools and trying things, because this is the way I see it. If I'm always actively doing things to help either mitigate or manage my low times, then I'm winning. Because doing nothing, and this is for me, doing nothing historically has only made it worse. So I'm now active. I do not leave that to chance. So I have this cute little book, which of course I can read in 0.25 seconds because it's only 113 pages, and it's an itty bitty book. So, and the words are pretty good size. I also went to the Regulator bookstore, and I also got a Christmas present, so that I asked for, so I'm super excited. This one, I got One of a Kind. I've heard good things about this book, and do you see this? It's signed. I was so excited when I saw this at the bookstore, and of course I got the bookmark. I've heard good things. I haven't read it, so I'm saying I think it's a good book. Back up, Lennox. Sorry, it's a big, right? You trying to look at my books now? Okay. All right, back up, buddy. Go sit down. Thank you. Anyways, so One of a Kind by Nicola Yoon, I think that's her name. It had really great reviews. I'm excited about it, and she has, like it says, she can write about any subject beautifully. So it says Get Out meets Stepford Wives, which I've seen both of those movies. It's her first adult novel, a terrifying and provocative look at one woman's quest to build a perfect life for her family and at what it means to truly be free in America. So I think this will be a really good book for me to read. Now, the part about Get Out and Stepford Wives, that's a little creepy, so this may be waiting till October when I'm feeling more creepy about it, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And then, finally, but not least, I got this as a Christmas present. Legendborn. So I actually am already I'm on page 20 of this, and I've actually paused this. I got it from the library, and I was listening to an audio book. Just paused the story because I don't like the audiobook version, the Audible. The way she was talking, I was just like, you're messing her up for me. I will be reading this with my eyeballs. So now that I have the book, I can read it. And I'm also listening to the proposal of the book, of the proposal. That's a good book. I'm like 83% done. The only reason I haven't finished it is because I'm going to be traveling again. So I'll listen to that when I go on the road in a couple days. And the story is really good. So you have Nicole, who's the female main character, and Carlos, who's the male main character. And Nicole is at a baseball game. The guy she was seeing, which I can't even remember his name, he's just a blip in the story, but they've only been seeing each other for like 5 months, I think. 5 months or 5 weeks, some ridiculously short time. It's his birthday, and this dude proposes to her. And she's like, you're just playing, right? Like, I can't do this. And he gets upset, and he is like in his feels about the fact that she was like, no. And, then everybody in the parking lot, she was saying, was giving her, the whole audience was giving her eyes and stuff or whatever. But I was like, you guys barely know each other, and based on what she was saying, she was only just tolerating him. She did not even see him in that way. But could you imagine how embarrassing that would be to be in a public setting like that? And you're kind of boxed in, like you arrived with them, and then he storms out, and like all the camera crew are just still sitting there staring at you, and you're like, what would you do? Carlos and his sister take mercy on her, and he's like, I got an idea. Because he's sitting like 5 rows behind her or whatever, and they seen the whole thing happen. They decide to go save her because they knew that the camera was going to continue to stay on her and follow her, and so they basically saves her from a situation, and they get her out of there and take her to her friend. I'm really getting to know all the characters, not just the main characters in this book. I think that is all. I do have another stack, like this big stack at the house of books that I need to show you as well. I'm also going to be getting a cute little bookshelf for my corner, because right now my books are kind of just all over my house, and I would love to have them in a consolidated area, or at least consolidated-ish area. I mean, I probably will still have books all around my house. I mean, who are we kidding here? But you know what I'm saying, like having a bookshelf. I'm going to do that, and I will probably try to put that together. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to put it together on camera or not. We'll see. Okay. I am feeling sick again, but it's not as bad this time, so I'm hoping whatever it is will pass. I'm not feeling my best self, and I'm hoping for a quick turnaround on this one, because I'm taking all the things. I'm like drinking my tea right now. It's going to be fine. Anyway, it was really good talking to you. I know I hadn't posted in a couple days, so I wanted to get something out there for you guys that I really enjoy, because I don't want to just post just to be posting. And I will update you once I finish my next book, which I have to decide which book that's going to be. Which book was I looking at earlier? I could just start reading Legendborn again and finish that, because I know this is a 3-book series, and the 3rd book comes out this year. Guys, can you believe it's 2025? Can you believe it? It's wild. I remember, when I was younger and the Jetsons was out, and the other day my partner said, it's the year of the Jetsons, and I was like, man, where are my flying cars at? And all the cool technology, like, we should have been there by now. I say this all the time. I'm like, teleportation should have already been invented, okay? Because when I tell you, my friends say I travel now. I could be more available, because I could just teleport back and forth all the time. I'm trying to read some contemporary fiction, some historical fiction. I don't think I would like a thriller unless it was like maybe like a Goosebumps thriller, like something that's really light. I don't think I would like to read a book that would have my shoulders tense the whole time. Like, I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'd probably eat the book up in an entire 24-hour span, because I'd have to know what happened to get a good night's rest. So I just don't feel it's good for my psyche. But there could be some thriller books out there for me. I know someone was mentioning model home. I don't even know. Like, I need more details. When October comes around, I like reading specifically fall romance books. I also love sci-fi, so I'll read those throughout the year too. Like, those are not regulated to a specific set of months for me. But I really, really, really enjoy reading seasonal books in the season. Like Christmas books, I'll read in November and December. I have my handy dandy Kindle, which I felt like I read another book, guys. Let me see. Oh, did I give the review for My One Christmas Wish? I don't feel like I did. This was a sweet little book. This was a friends to lovers trope where Gabriel and Winter, and it was a cute book because, and it was a short read. I think I read this in 2 days. It was no big deal. Winter is in a relationship and she's very unhappy in this relationship. She's been with this guy, I think it was like 7 years, and they've been on and off a lot. And then she's also had this her best friend, Gabriel, and they have both like secretly loved each other for a long time, but they've been at different phases of that love. Like from what I could tell when I was reading it, there was a point where Gabriel was like he knew he loved her, and then there was a point when Winter was like she knew she loved him, but they also were seeing different people at different times. The stars never really aligned for them to get together. I really enjoyed the book because Gabriel was like, okay, I get that you've been through some stuff, but it's us. And until then, I'm still going to be right here. Like, whatever it is. And he's like, my mind, I was like, okay. So you kind of go on that journey with them. They're childhood friends, so their families are really close. Like, they see each other as family at this point. So them getting together would be really beautiful because they've been, already enmeshed in each other's lives. So it would be nothing. It would be simple, easy. Like their hometown, obviously the same place because they grew up together. There's a couple, actually, I take it back. There's a couple challenges in the story, but one, they live in two different cities and both have successful jobs in those said cities. Winter has relationship hangups that she needs to heal from. D-Rose. It's a good book. If I haven't done so already, I will rate probably a three star. It's not a book that I say I want to read again next year, but it also is it's a cute little story. So if you wanted a quick read or fill in Christmas in July or whatever the situation is, it's a cute story. My favorite Christmas books of the year 2024 that I read were The Holidays. Brittany Cherry. I am so looking forward to reading more books by her. Like, she's another author that I'm like, yes, you wrote a book, I'm going to read it. So I have, like I said, The Holidays was the only book I've read of hers. So I'm so excited because I did look her up and she has a couple books. So I'm like, I'll be reading that. And then Christmas in Spite of You by Casey Mills. That was another really great book. It's Forced Proximity and it has all the Christmas feels in it. So if I was recommending a book for someone to read for this year for Christmas coming up, and 2025, because Christmas is always coming up, that would be a good book too. This one was so out of character. Saint and the Queen by Desiree. The saint in this book, he is hood, so bear that in mind. But I love it. Like, I don't know how else. You have the queen, obviously, and she's a real queen, unbeknownst to her. She is the daughter of Santa Claus, and their whole lineage from an ancient line of 5 families. You're the first people of the earth. And you're magic. And like, there's obviously there's magic in the story. There's love in the story. There's family drama galore. I enjoyed that book so much. It was short though, and I say this about all short books. You know what I'm going to say? I wish it had more. So I hope she continues that story and flushes out the characters that we met in the first book, because I think that would be a great series to read and to just really be in that world. Even if I read one book a year at Christmas time, I would do that because it's definitely That was a good, cute little story. And then Snowed In with Sin. And this one had Christmas related activities in it. Who was that book by again? Aurora Lillard. It also had about a whole world of supernatural creatures in it. I hope that that story is expanded and that you get to know more of those characters. I really love the stories where, like Kimberly Lemming's book, where you're reading about the character and then you get to like continue in book 2 and read more and learn more about the world and know more about the character that you already met in the prior book. I really love that. That's one of my favorite things about the series. So, guess what, guys? I'm looking at my Kindle, and what's the first book up there? Before I Let You Go, which is Kennedy Ryan's first book. And my tail over here was reading the other one. This could be us. I had it on here the whole time. Oh well. Definitely will read that. And it says Skyland right there on top. Like, I just I wanted the book. Like, sometimes I really want to hold the book. I'm pretty sure actually I got it from Kindle Unlimited. I'm gonna get it on a little bitty Kindle. And yes, my Kindle doesn't have a case on it. Yes, I know I need a thing on it. One of the things I put on my Christmas list was to have a little stand. So when I'm at night when I'm reading it, it can sit in a little stand. And then I've also learned that there's a clicker. Guys, I did not know that there was a clicker you could buy, so you don't even have to. I don't even have to do the finger swipe. I'm like, say what? So we know what I'm going to be looking at. And I think I already put one in my cart. I could also leave it, I guess, on my Christmas wish list or whatnot as well. But we'll see how patient I am. Anyways, I've been talking for long enough, so I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you had a good Christmas, whether you were with family or not. I hope that you were able to enjoy your own company and have a great time. And I will see you next time, and have a good one. Bye-bye.